All right. New week, new view behind me. It seems like I'm in a different spot every time I film this, but okay. Response to your reading journals. Sarah and Rich also, you mentioned that the Vikings were unintentionally spreading Christianity, and I was like, yes, like that is so awesome that that happened. And I loved how Richie pointed out, like, it was unintentional to us as the readers or to those who are writing the books, but God probably had a hand in it or did have a hand in it. So, yeah, maybe not unintentional for God. Um, Sarah talked about how there's just like all this violence that seems unnecessary. And like, I totally agree with that. And, Brandon also mentioned, all the infighting and how, I agree that I'm sick of it too. And I've only lived, you know, however many years, and yeah, 600 years seems like a long time to put up with all of the wars and the persecution and all the things to finally get tired of it. And then Sarah and Brandon both mentioned the tongue being cut out. I believe it was Maximus, and that he just like kept talking and kept spreading his message, even though he was prosecuted or persecuted, and they eventually cut his tongue off. And I was like, yeah, that took some nerve to keep going. Like, I don't know if I'd probably stop after the first time that something happened to me. Um, and Sarah, you also talked about how people were being superficially Christian, and I think you had a question about it, but I think there are a lot of people right now who are superficially Christian. Like they say that I'm, a Christian or I'm a Methodist or whatever, but I'm not sure that they totally understand what that means or what they believe in. They just know that that's what they should say or that that's the image they want to project. And then Sarah also talked about how the Muslims were portrayed as being like joyless because there was no alcohol or pork, and I thought that was funny too. The standards that they were showing, and then Rich, kind of along those lines, you talked about, and Brandon did too a little bit about how the churches of Germany and of the West were dark and devoid of beauty. And Rich, you talked about how our churches nowadays, we try to make it beautiful, but I've served, let's see, 5 different churches, always a 2-point charge, but like over the course. And there are some that are dark and devoid of beauty just because they haven't been kept up, and they just smell like they're full of mold and there's bats and all the things. And so, yeah, I can sense how um, people like the beauty and the warmth and the, as we're going to put it, all the things in the churches, because it feels more welcoming. But of course, if you've never grown up with it, if that's your church for life, then you don't know any different. So I see that side too. And then Brandon talked about how now we were buying conversions, like it was a treaty to convert to Christianity. And I wonder, like, they're saying they're converting and maybe they're, going along with it or whatever, but I wonder if their hearts were actually really into it or if it was just words that they were saying to get what they wanted in the end. And no, Brandon, there's nothing, no picture, no thing that I would risk my life for. Things come and go. So I agree that there's no way I would fight over a picture of Jesus for my life. So hope you guys have a good week. Talk to you on Friday.